Natalie Portman.
Oh, yeah. Keira Knightley and Natalie Portman look very fucking similar.
Hello, my name is Steve.
And I'm David.
And this is a special episode of Anime Plus. In this episode, we're going to discuss the seminal Satoshi Kon movie, Perfect Blue, which came out in 1997. David just watched it for the first time. I've seen it a number of times. I was fortunate enough to be able to see it in the theater for its original theatrical run in America. So the movie Perfect Blue follows a young pop idol named Kirigoi Mima, who, at the beginning of the film, she is going through her final performance as part of the pop idol group Cham, in which she announces that she is retiring from that role to begin pursuing a role as an actor. Her manager, an older woman named Rumi, is hesitant about the shift to actor from pop idol, but the gentleman who owns the agency is doing everything he can to ensure that Mima can get her acting chops in line. Her first role is a minimal part in a serialized drama series called Double Bind. Through the insistence of the gentleman who runs her agency, she gets increasingly more roles. While all this is going on, Mima's curiosity about something one of her fans said at her final concert has her buying a computer and continuing to search this website called Mima's Room. Mima's Room acts as a diary from Mima's perspective, but she's not the one that's writing it, and some of the intimate and personal details freaks her out a little bit. The stress of being an actor and struggling with the change of her identity from a pop idol begins to avalanche when she is involved in a sexual assault scene as part of the series Double Bind. Shortly after the filming of that scene, the head writer of the show ends up being murdered under mysterious circumstances. As Mima's mental state rapidly deteriorates, she begins to see visions of herself from her Cham days that begins to be aggressive towards her. Things pick up speed, begin to snowball. There's a photo shoot she gets coerced into that ends up being a nude shoot. Segments of the Double Bind drama begin to mirror some of what's going on in her head or in real life, continuing to blur the lines of reality between what's real and what's fictional, culminating with a few more murders of people associated with the show. And after the wrap party for the final episode, a gentleman who has been presented as an obsessed fan of sorts begins to assault her, believing that the author of the Mima's Room blog is the true Mima. And then in the climax of the series, Mima discovers that not everything has been in her head. There is somebody else who is attempting to revive the pop idol version of herself. And we get a culmination of a final confrontation between her and that person to resolve all of this issue that's been going on. And without spoiling a shit ton of the movie, that's essentially the rundown of kind of the plot and the course of the story. So Perfect Blue was Satoshi Kon's first movie as director, and it kind of set the stage for him to create a couple of other well-regarded titles before his early death, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think you've seen any of the Satoshi Kon movies. So we have Millennium Actress, Tokyo Godfathers, and Paprika are the other movies that he directed. And all of those he wrote. He didn't write Perfect Blue. Perfect Blue is loosely based on a novel of pretty much the same name.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the movie? And then what are your thoughts on the vision brought to you by Satoshi Kon?
It was a really good movie. I really liked it. I got very into it. I got frustrated with some of the choices the character made.
With Mima unwilling to vocalize the anxiety that was welling up inside of her and her suspicions about people around her and their activities.
Yeah, it's just like, just fucking say something.
It was the whole don't go into the basement thing from a horror movie, you would say.
Yeah. I really liked the art direction, especially for like a 90s movie.
Mm-hmm. Fortunately, the movie hasn't aged well. It's been a couple of years since I've seen it. I have seen it in relatively recent history. I've always had a problem with the audio quality and the mixing. Like, it was even bad in the theater. Mm-hmm. Or it was the same way it is on the DVD as it was in the theater. And I've never been happy with the sound quality. I don't know if they've released an upscaled version of the movie. I'd like to see someone redo the movie, remake it. I think it's ripe for a modernization.
The point was, very enjoyable movie. The delusion part kind of had me even going, what the fuck's real? Well, it's not. I don't know what's real.
There was the segment where she would do a section of the daily life, and then she would be startled awake laying in her bed in her apartment. And
Yeah.
she did that a number of times, and some of them were actually repeating some of the events that she had just done, but in kind of different settings.
Yeah, I was like, is this Inception? Like, what the is Leonardo DiCaprio gonna walk out? And I'll just be like, there he is.
The movie Black Swan by Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah.
He has said that it's pretty much him paying homage to Perfect Blue with that movie. Though instead of being a pop idol becoming an actress, what is she? She's a ballerina. I still haven't seen that movie. I should probably watch that. I'm intrigued to see how much of Perfect Blue he put in that movie.
I don't know if you could tell that story another way. Like, you could change the animation quality and the sound, but I don't know if anything else could change about that.
All of the specific details to the story itself, to how the story unfolds, what's happening to the characters, what kind of work the characters are doing, has not changed in 30 years. That stuff is still as relevant as it was back then. Pop idols are still a thing. The fandom around them is still as problematic as it was back then. And then there is always the problem with the changing of public's opinion as their pop idols either change perspective or reveal more of their identities. There is always the problem in the idol community of the public finding out that an idol is in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, that is one of the biggest problems, because there's the image that the agencies and the idol world itself builds around the girls that participate in it regarding their chastity and fabricating the air of companionship with the audience.
Yeah.
This is essentially spoilers, kind of. Perfect Blue does the...
Yeah, I'm trying to not spoil anything. I'm trying to think of like how to say this.
I mean, the movie's damn near 30 years old at this point.
That's fair.
The movie goes through the majority of it, forcibly establishing for the viewer that all of these problems stem from the one fan who goes by the online moniker of Me Mania.
Yeah.
The obsessive fan of the specific idol who lives in a delusional world that's continuously fed by the idol industry and how the idols are presented to him. In this case, though, there is a third party who is maintaining this false narrative and has begun to actively manipulate this Me Mania person to work with them to reach their ultimate goals. But just as easily, the story could be off-kilter fan goes crazy because it's something that happens more often than it really should in reality. I'm trying to think, in Seiyu Radio, I know that there were some storylines that dealt with problematic interactions with the public, but I don't remember if there was a stalking one.
It wasn't like directly stalking, but it was where the Chica, there were pictures being taken of her. Where it was the casting couch thing, but it was actually
it was her father.
Dad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So some other point down the road, we'll have to watch Paprika. Paprika is based on a science fiction novel that was written by the same gentleman who wrote The Girl Who Leapt Through Time's original novel.
Okay.
Everybody loves Paprika. I didn't like it. I respect Satoshi Kon and I respect his vision and his work, and I think he was a great director. There were just elements of Paprika itself that, much like with Inception and Paprika are very similar movies in my mind. They have kind of a similar premise, kind of. But why I think they're even more similar is they both have a really, really solid, interesting science fiction concept and don't do enough with it during the story that they tell. Paprika deals with a technology that allows you to peer into people's dreams. So it's closer to Inception than I'm making it out to be, but it is also very different from Inception. But both of them, I feel, good premise. It didn't go anywhere with its execution. But most people think I'm an idiot for saying that.
I mean, to be fair, people love Inception too.
And everybody loves Paprika. So we'll have to watch that. And then we'll have a debate about it.
Okay.
Otherwise, Perfect Blue, though, I love Perfect Blue. I think it's I remember in the long ride home after the movie when I saw it with a couple of my friends, we spent the whole hour-ish coming back home talking about it. And the first thing I talked about is this probably should have just been a live action movie. It was essentially the anime version of a Hitchcock film.
Yeah.
Like true and through.
Kind of has like a mild slasher horror-ness to it as well.
Sure, in the end, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely like a horror aspect to the movie too.
Well, it's a thriller.
Yeah.
There are people literally being murdered.
Slasher movies are still like horror movies, technically.
Well, no, I said thriller.
Right, I'm defending me calling it a horror.
Sure. My favorite scene was in The Chase when they showed the juxtaposition of what Mima's seeing and then what's being reflected in the mirror.
Yeah, where Rumi's just like
to break the veil.
Yeah.
I loved that. Scene always gets me. Well, thanks for listening, and let us know what you think of Perfect Blue, and eventually we'll do an episode like this on Paprika, and then we can discuss Paprika then. Beginning next week, we're going to roll into a new series for Anime Plus. We're going to be discussing Season 2 of Shoshimin, How to Become Ordinary. And don't forget, check out the final episode of the regular podcast on Friday. All we have left is the last episode we're going to watch of Ubel Blot, and then we will reveal the 3 new shows for the next season, beginning the following week.
Yay!
So, thanks again for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Come find us on our socials and join us in Discord, and we can talk more about the interesting world of Satoshi Kon, who unfortunately didn't get to make as much as everybody would have liked him to have made. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll check you guys next time.
Deuces.